אוקיי, קודם כל, שבוע טוב, ל"ג בעומר, ל"ג שמח. לפני שנתחיל הכל, כמובן שעיקר השיחה צריכה להיות על החתן של ההילולה, רבי שמעון בר יוחאי, זכותו תגן על כל ישראל, אמן. נראה את השיחות הר"ן. לפני זה אני הייתי רוצה לקחת איזה נקודה קטנה. שנייה אחת. נראה רק דקה. ברוך השם. אז התחלנו לדבר, רבי שמעון, ברוך השם, רבי שמעון בר יוחאי, ההילולה שלו הלילה, ברוך השם, יום. נדבר טיפה, רק נספר איזה סיפור קטן, מה שדיבר ממנו, מה שאמר הרב ארוש, רק נמצא את זה ונוכל דקה, נמצא את זה. היום ל"ג בעומר, שזה יום של מחילת עוונות. Today is Lag Baomer, it's a day of atonement of all the sins. סליחה וכפרה. It's a day of attenuation and a sweetening of all the dinim. There are many stories that are told in the Zohar Kodesh about the immense strength of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai to cancel decrees. Once there was a plague in the town of Lod. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai got to the town, and people, said to Rabbi Shimon, "What are we going to do?" So he got up and he, traversed the town, and he saw dead people. So Rabbi Shimon said, "This plague is in town, and now I'm here. I decree that this plague is annihilated." Immediately they heard the baskol that said to all the mazikim, "Get out of there." Rabbi Shimon is there. That Kadosh Baruch Hu decrees, and Rabbi Shimon cancels the gzera. The Chachamim that were in that town said, "Who can stand in this praise of the greatness of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai?" Even Moshe Rabbeinu, when he wanted to cancel the plague, he had to work hard and to bring the machto and the to fire and ketores, and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai cancels the gezeros just by talking, just by saying. So the day of Lag Baomer, it's a day that it is possible to mevatel all the gezeros and to bring about all the Yeshuas. As Tzadikim said, the Gemara Brochas, Kedai Reb Shimon l'smoch aleh b'shat adchak. Reb Shimon bar Yochai is worthy to be relied on in the time of distress. Obviously now, we are in time of great distress. Klal Yisrael is in danger because they want to kill us. They means everybody. I kid you not. It's not just the Hamas, it's not just the Arabs, everybody, everywhere, all over the world. Some say it, some don't say it. Kedai Reb Shimon l'smoch al shat adchak, Baruch Hashem. It's Reb Shimon bar Yochai was a Tana of Rabbi Akiva, And so let's talk a little bit about Rabbi Shimon a little bit, and the thing that puts together the amazing occurrence of how it came about. That Rabbi Akiva had 24,000 students, and they all passed away during the 33 days of the Omer. They stopped down, the 32 days of the 33rd day, they stopped. And this day became a Hilula. That's the Yochai of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. We have to understand, what are we talking about? What happened? The 24,000 of Rabbi Akiva, well, the greatest of all the Tanoim, and the 24,000 of his Talmidim will pass away. And they say, why did they pass away? They did not treat each other with the proper kavod. They didn't honor each other enough. And we have to understand, obviously, they were not rude. These are Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva. What is this? That there's such a decree, 24,000 of them died. We have to understand that, and then we can understand what is the meaning of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. The death of the Talmidim was not a punishment. You see, Hilula means the wedding. What we are celebrating is really the original wedding when Am Yisrael stood by Har Sinai, and the groom is Kodesh Baruch Hu, and the Kala is Am Yisrael, and the ring is the Torah, and the light of the Torah is so immense that in order for Am Yisrael to be Mekabel the Torah, there had to be 600,000 neshamas, 600,000 kalim, vessels with which to contain the incredible light of Torah. They'll be split down to 600,000 tzimtzumim, which is 600,000 letters of the Torah, and then the Torah can be received. But the only way that the Torah can be received is when Am Yisrael came to Har Sinai. It says, the Am Echad Belev Echad, one nation with one heart. For that 600,000 neshamas to be able to be a receptacle for the entire Torah, Am Yisrael had to be one. Am Echad, Belev Echad. The Moshe Rabbeinu saw Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva himself was Ben Gerim, came from the tzad of the Gvuras, and his Talmidim, he was actually giving the Torah after Churban Abayis. He was giving the Torah to his 24,000 Talmidim. That was Matan Torah. Rabbi Akiva giving the Torah required all the 24,000 Talmidim be one. Am Echad Belev Echad. The way Am Yisrael was in Matan Torah. Being that they were not that, they were lacking in the proper respect that they gave each other. I mean, they respected each other and honored each other, but not to the degree that was necessary for Matan Torah. So as a result, the whole thing exploded, and they all perished. It's not that it was a punishment, chas v'chalil. It was a result. There wasn't am echad belev echad, one nation and one heart. So the whole thing exploded. Rabbi Akiva was 104 years old at the time. Imagine the calamity, 24,000 Talmidim, his life's work. Die, in 32 days. Rabbi Akiva being Rabbi Akiva, he starts again. Takes 5 Talmidim, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rabbi Meir bar Anes, Yossi, and so forth. And he reestablishes the Torah again. And the time, Am Israel was under the rule of Rome, and basically the relationship between the Jews and Rome were new ups and downs throughout the relationship. And obviously, after Choban Abayis, it was a very, very hard time. And the last Tana that actually finished the Gzero with the relationship with the Romans, with the tyranny of the Romans, and started actually a period of good relationship between Am Yisrael and Rome, to the point that Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, had almost like a brother with Antoninus. He was the Caesar of Rome, and by the time Shimon bar Yochai, there was a meeting, and there was one time that there was praising the Romans, and Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai said, everything the Romans do, they do for their honor, for their avodah zarah, for their immorality. And the third time, just remained quiet. So the Romans heard about it and decreed, the one that praised, he's going to be the one who's the first speaker in every place. The one who didn't say anything is going to be exiled. Shimon bar Yochai, that despised the Roman Empire, the Romans, is supposed to be killed. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai and his son left home. Nobody knew where they went. Even Rabbi Shimon's wife did not know where he went. And they went, to the cave, and they stayed there altogether for 13 years. Being that they had no clothes, they put themselves in a pit covered with mud. Covered with sand. As they were learning, only Shabbos Kodesh, they came out and they used the dress because their clothes, because they knew otherwise, they didn't know how long they're going to stay there. If they would keep on wearing their clothing will tear, and so for 12 years they did it. Then they went out, and they saw a person who was plowing the field. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai said, people work day and night. What's going to be with Torah? He looked at that person, and the person became, Gal Shel Atzomis. The simple translation of Gal Shel Atzomis means a heap of bones. But Rabbeinu reveals that Gal Shel Atzomis means that that some of the atzmos, the self of that person, was revealed. Because Shimon he said, no son be'einav, he put his eye into this person, the nasa gal shalatzamus, he put his eye into him and it became a pile of bones. Actually, the tzaddik gave his eyes, he put his eyes into that person couldn't see who he really was. And there's no bigger punishment for a person to see in one fell swoop everything that's wrong with him. So Basco came to Shemaim and said, what, you came out to destroy my world? So they went back, he says, go back to your cave. And he went back to the cave for another year. When he came out, and they saw, one person, the old person running with two branches of Hadassim. And they asked him, where are you running? He says, Shabbos. He says, what are these two branches of Hadassim? And the old man said, is what Shabbos, one keneged Zachar and one keneged Shamar. And Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai said to his brother, to his son, let the world be what it is. It's enough for this world that you and I are in it. That's enough. There's no need for. At that point on, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai was mitigating all the xeris. He went to place being that now, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai was zeicher to the neshama, the original neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. Whatever did, he saw everything. So he's the one that used to go to towns and used to mark all the graves, so the Kohanim were able to pass through. Of course, he revealed, the Sefer Hazar, which actually was the teaching of Rabbi Akiva. Shimon bar Yochai himself has revealed the Sefer Tikkun Hazar. It was his chedushin. The Tikkun Hazar is immeasurably higher than the Sefer Hazar. And how high is Sefer Hazar? It says, B'schus of the Sefer Hazar, Am Yisrael will come out of its galus, soon in our days. Shimon bar Yochai lived in the time where the origin of the religion of the Western society was walking around. And what they did, the biggest damage that they wrought upon Am Yisrael was not all the millions that they killed. They were not unique in that. Basically, all the empires, all the nations did that to Am Yisrael throughout the Jewish history. The biggest damage that man did was that he damaged the most sacred concept in Yiddishkeit, that is the most vital one to be Mekar of people to Torah and Avodas Hashem, and that's the concept of the tzaddik. That claim that Mach Shemo v'Zichro, he is the tzaddik, and all kinds of dimyonis. I don't even want to go whatever it is that forget about it. And as a result, Am Yisrael has suffered throughout the generation because after him there was some more. There was Shabtai Tzvi Mach Shemo, there's Franki Mach Shemo, and these make-believe redeemers that wrought incredible calamities in Am Yisrael. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai has returned that loss back to Am Yisrael. You see, throughout the generations, hundreds of years, Jews come from all over the world to the Tzion of Shimon bar Yochai. Some of them learn Zohar. Some of them even learn Kabbalah. But the great majority of the people that come to Rabbi Shimon, not only don't they learn Zohar and don't they learn Kabbalah, they don't even know Rabbi Shimon on the Mishnayos. Rabbi Shimon in Benigla. They have no idea. And but what they have, what they get, what they come for is the tzaddik. Am Yisrael feels, Am Yisrael knows. Some time ago, science revealed what in the accelerator in CERN in Switzerland, either they revealed or were looking to reveal what's it called, the Higgs boson. The Higgs boson is the particle that unites all the particles. They call it the God particle, used to call it. Rabbeinu explains that the tzaddik is Adoilom. Tzaddik is the Yesod HaPoshut, is the God particle, is the tzaddik. The tzaddik b'emunos yichya. From the tzaddik, from that flat, kaviyachol Higgs boson, that person flows. The river splits and became to four heads. These are the four elements of reality, which is Esh, Ruach, Mayim, offers fire and air and water and sand. It corresponds to the four subatomic powers, the weak atomic power, the strong atomic power, and the electromagnetic power and the koach hameshach of the elements. The koach hameshicha, the gravity, is in itself the weakest of all the four elements, of all the four powers. The strong atomic power, the weak atomic power, the electromagnetic power are all far more powerful per element, per atom, per particle than the gravity. But the gravity is the most powerful of all of them, because gravity is the only of these four powers, subatomic powers, that is additional. In other words, that it adds one and another. Each atom has the subatomic, the strong atomic force and the weak atomic force and the electromagnetic force. But each, two atoms do not share those powers. It's not being added. It's not additional. The only power of all those four powers that adds all together is gravity. It's the weakest of all, but it's the most powerful force in the entire creation, because it adds one to one to one to one. This is Am Yisrael Am Echad Belev Echad. Yesod HaOfer, which represents the tzaddik, is the only thing. This is Afa Mana de Kulu. The offer, the Yesod HaOfer, the earth, that's the tool upon everything grows. The wind doesn't matter, and the water doesn't matter, and the fire doesn't do any good without there being Yesod HaOfer, the element of the earth, which is gravity, which is the tzaddik. The tzaddik is the sub koyach, Yesod HaPoshut, that spreads amongst all the four powers, and is divided into the 4 letters of Yud Kei Vav Kei. All the name of Hashem comes out from the Yesod HaPoshel, from the Tzadik. This is the Inyan of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai has reinstated the Emunas Tzadikim, the koyach of the tzaddik, and not only by the people who learn Zohar. The koyach of the tzaddik is not just by the people who learn the Kutam Haran. The koyach of the tzaddik is everywhere. Everywhere that there's a Jew that has a machshava of tshuva, anywhere, it's from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's from Rabbeinu HaKodesh. Rabbeinu says, anywhere there's machshava of tshuva, it's from me. Shimon Bar Yochai said, Mefurish, Nase Adam, let's make a man. Kadosh Baruch Hu told him, Alochem, let's make a person, let's make a man. Ne'emar ba'avurecha, it was said for you. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Antu Shabbos the Kula Yomi, you are the Shabbos of all the days. What's pshat, that Shabbos of all the days? You know, we say in the tefillah of Shabbos, Yom HaShvi Mishabech V'Omer. The 7th day is praising and saying, Lefichach Yadu V'Vachu, and all the Bria will, therefore the entire Bria will praise the Kodesh Baruch Hu, will sing his praise, and so forth and so on. So Rabbi Meshibos said, since Yom HaShvi Mishabech V'Omer, the 7th day is praising and saying, therefore all the Bria can sing. Why is it dependent on the Shabbos? Lefichach, therefore. What if the Shabbos won't praise, the Bria cannot praise the Kodesh Baruch Hu? The answer is no, because the Kodesh Baruch Hu is totally abstract, without a beginning, without end. We have no tfis in the Kodesh Baruch Hu. We can't grasp anything in Kodesh Baruch Hu. On the other hand, we are, our krutzei chomer, which we're made of sand. We are finite. Our logic comprehends things by defining. Okay, this is okay. Now I know. If you ask me, where is so and so? If you say he's in Tel Aviv and is in Haifa and in Paris, you don't know where he is, do you? Knowing is when he says, okay, it's only Tel Aviv. Okay, now I know where he is. When you define, when you frame it, when you limit it, this is how the human intellect understands and relates to things. Kodesh Baruch Hu is the total opposite. How can there be any connection between a person who is limited and a Kodesh Baruch Hu who is limitless? The answer is Kodesh Baruch Hu has made an in-between, a sandwich of something which is physical, that's a time, it's a day, which is a keli, and that day is totally godly. The light of a Shabbos is complete godliness. The only thing that you need to do, the main things you need to do about Shabbos, to receive the Kedusha of Shabbos, the mitzvahs, of course, the Mekadesh the Shabbos, and all the other mitzvahs of Shabbos. But the main mitzvah of Shabbos is bitul. Most of the mitzvah of Shabbos is mitzvahs what you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. The 39 melachas that you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. All those means that you come into Shabbos and you're holding your hand in, and you just go and just let yourself become one part with the day. You mevad yourself to the day. Avada, you have work to do, but the main avodah is bitul. The tzaddik is the same thing. The tzaddik is a physical person. that brought himself to a madrega that the content, his real essence, is kul elakus. It's total godliness. And when you are coming close to him, the main thing that you need to do is be mevatel yourself to him. Yes, there are many things you need to do. You need to learn, you need to do mitzvahs. You're not off the hook. You're not along for the ride. There's work that you need to do. But the main avodah is bitul l'tzadik. Bitul l'tzadik means emuna in the tzadik. The more emuna you have, the more bitul you have. And this is something that every person need to pray for and to beg for. To have emuna in the tzaddik, proper emuna in the tzaddik. That the tzaddik is a yesod HaPashut. That's the element, the simple of the simplest elements that all the four elements come from. That the four letters of Shem Havaya are generated from. He is inside each and every one of us. As Rabbeinu says that the anov of Moshe Rabbeinu is in every cell of every Jew. And the kind of anova that a person has, that's the thing that determines what will actually wake up during Tchis HaMesim, during the resurrection. The tzaddik is inside you. From the days of Moshe Rabbeinu, through the days of Shimon bar Yochai, through the days of Rabbeinu Arizal, through the days of Baal Shem Tov, and Rabbeinu HaKadosh Rabbi Nachman ben Fegi. The tzaddik is that driving force that each Jew has. Doesn't matter whether he knows of Rabbi Shimon or doesn't know of Rabbi Shimon, he knows of Rabbi Nachman or doesn't know of Rabbi Nachman. From a fry, any kind of yearning to Hashem Yisbarach is from the koyach of the tzaddik. This is the great rejoicing. This is the great hilula. That's the marriage. The tzaddik is the one that brings Am Yisrael to a Kodesh Baruch. Kodesh Baruch Hu comes down on Har Sinai, yes. Moshe brings Am Yisrael towards a Kodesh Baruch. Moshe Rabbeinu is the Shushvin. Tzaddik is the matchmaker. He's the one that brings the kala, you, me, and all Am Yisrael to a Kodesh Baruch. Without Moshe, nothing can be done. Without Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, nothing can be done. So people can learn Kabbalah. Yes, I learn Kabbalah. Don't learn Kabbalah. You have to be 40 years old, not to be 40 years old. It doesn't matter. The main thing is everything happens with the koyach of Shimon bar Yochai. The koyach of the tzaddik emes. Moshe Rabbeinu is the same neshama throughout the 5 tzaddikim. Tonight is the Hilula. I highly recommend that you take Sefer Zohar and read as much as you can. If you have it with some kind of a translation, Targum, maybe Mosek Midvash, or something like this, Bevada good. And especially if you can read tonight the Idra Zuta, which is the last teaching of Shimon bar Yochai, as he passed away on Lag Baomer, Bevada good. Whatever you can do is good. Whatever you can do is good. Now, Bezat Hashem, before we conclude, let's bring out the Sichos Haran for tonight. No, oh. Just a second. No, that's not the one. This is no, I think. Hold on, just 1 second. Share, let's try to share again. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Sicha 243. Reish Mem Dalad. Rabbeinu has instructed a person who was sick within his household to wake up before daybreak and say the entire Shir Shirim. Rabbeinu said that all the refuahs in the world are included in Shir Shirim. And that's the way it happens. Immediately that he did it, there was a change in that particular sick person, and he became healthy again. So comes the question, if that person would have read Shir Shirim, all the medicine in the world is in there. If it would, on his own, wake up, before dawn, says, something, I have this notion, I'm going to read Shir Shirim, the whole thing, beginning to end. And he will do it without Rabbeinu telling him to do it. And now, Baruch Hashem, he already told all of us to do it. It would not have worked. There was a very similar Maisa when the Chofetz Chaim went to visit, for Shabbos by Rabbi Salanta. So Tazdik, closely broken. And these two tzaddikim, to Shabbos, Rabbi Salanta said that there is a person in town who is not well, so let's go mevakeh choila. And they went there. And Rabbi Salanta, he could speak, and he was mechazik this person. He spoke. He was ma'arid this person about Amunas Chachamim. What Chazal said, the Gemara says, and the greatness and how true it is, until the person got really, 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 worked up on that, give him good serious. Then Rabbi Salanta said, well, we say Chalas is melugma, Shabbos, hot water after Shabbos is refuah. So we'll ask the Rebbetzin please to make a cup of tea and give it to the patient. At the Shem, you will be healthy. And she made it, and he became healthy. Rabbi Salanta said to the Chofetz Chaim, he said, if I would not have, stoked the fires of Amunas Chachamim in him, that melugma, that hot water, that cup of tea, would not have made him well. The Amunas Chachamim that he had has awakened the koyach of the Divrei Chazal, and it worked on him. This is why it is so, I find myself like, it's not, I'm repeating it for myself, I'm not repeating it for anybody else. You have to beg HaKadosh Baruch to be zochet Amunas Chachamim. We think we have Amunas Chachamim, but we didn't even start. The minute that you have, the more Amunas Chachamim that you have, the more the tzaddik speaks to you in everything. In everything. Any sefer of the tzaddik that you open, the more Amunas Chachamim you have, the tzaddik speaks directly to you this point in time, exactly what you need right now. And more and more and more. Leshon Chachamim marpeh, the language of Chachamim is marpeh. V'aleo letrufa, you read the dibur of the tzaddik, and it sort of like irradiates your entire being. It changes you completely. That work of Emunas Tzaddikim, this is Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. This is Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Nachman ben Fegi. Because Baruch Hu B'ezrat Hashem, Am Yisrael is in the great sorrow. The entire world is out to get us, literally. And the Erev Rav within us are also out to get us. It's funny. They actually said, those who are, the protesting, whatever, it says 64 mandates will not stop us. Democracy will not stop us because Hashem Yirachem. We need a tzaddik. We need Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We need Rabbi Shimon Ben Fege. B'ezrat Hashem, with the koyach of Shimon Bar Yochai, and the koyach of all the tzaddikim, before the koyach of Rabbi Shimon Ben Fege, we'll all be zocher to bear HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to give us all emunos chachamim. The one thing that is important to tell anybody, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, is to tell them, on Purim, we have this is Kimu v'Kibla Yehudim. The Jews have received the Torah all over again. Not in Torah, in Purim. But 100 years later, almost 100 years later, Am Yisrael actually went with Ezra and wasn't 100 years, know what I'm talking about. It was quite a few years later. All Golos for 70 years. So they came with Ezra, and Ezra is standing there, and he calls all the people to send away and divorce their Goyish wives. Yehudim, they all received the Torah. What did they have Goyish wives in Eretz Yisrael? All those years later. The answer is the beginning of the tshuva was immediately. It still took time until they were able to get rid of the Goyish women, Goyish wives, it's Goyish children. It's tshuva, it's kiyuvikim. The people in Eretz Yisrael, fry, from, need to call out the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Say, Baruch Shalom, we want you. Or be Shomer Shabbos, eat kosher before being Shomer Shabbos, before eating kosher. Call out to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, we want you, we need you, we can't without you. So when will B'ezrat Hashem? We will. We don't know when, but we want you starting now. And it's true not just by the fry, but by us as well. Starting now. Shem Yazor B'ezrat Hashem. Suratana Eloki Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Ben Fege B'ezrat Hashem. We zoche Hashem Gula Shleim Abias Mashiach Tzidkenu. Binya Beis Hamikdash B'ezrat Hashem B'kol B'yaminu Amen. B'ezrat Hashem.